Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're plunging into a topic that, well, it often sparks incredibly strong opinions and, frankly, a fair bit of misunderstanding. Hunting leases.
Yeah.
When you first hear that phrase, do you instantly picture something maybe only for the super rich? Or maybe a brand new idea that's somehow eroding, the very fabric of traditional hunting?
Definitely common thoughts.
If so, get ready to challenge those initial thoughts. Our source material for this deep dive is a really insightful article called Changing the Narrative: 10 Reasons Hunting Leases Are Good. It's from Basecamp Leasing.
Okay.
But what makes this particular dive so compelling, I think, are the surprisingly candid and sometimes, well, conflicting viewpoints we found right there in its comments section.
The comments section, always interesting.
Always. So our mission today is to truly unpack the nuances of hunting leases. We'll look at the genuine benefits, confront the common myths head on, and explore why some hunters absolutely swear by them while others remain pretty skeptical. Ultimately, we want to understand what this evolving landscape means for access to land, for critical conservation efforts, and, well, for the entire future of hunting.
And what's truly fascinating about this topic, is how quickly it expands beyond just the act of hunting itself.
Yeah, how so?
Well, understanding hunting leases really forces us to consider fundamental concepts like private property rights, the economic models influencing how we use and value land,
Right.
and the ever-evolving approaches to both conservation and outdoor recreation in general. It's actually a much broader conversation than it might first appear.
Right out of the gate, one of the biggest myths that seems to constantly pop up is this idea that hunting leases are only for the rich man, or that companies facilitating them, like Basecamp Leasing, are actively ruining the sport and are, only out for the money. It's a powerful sentiment, and it really resonates with a lot of people.
It does.
What does the article tell us about that initial perception?
Well, the source tackles that head on, actually. It argues that companies like BCL, and really the whole concept of leasing, are designed to make, and I quote, positive impacts on access, conservation, wildlife management, and much more.
Okay.
So the underlying perspective is that these leases help democratize access to quality ground that might otherwise be completely unavailable.
Oh, right. Makes sense.
And crucially, by creating a market for hunting access, more financial resources become available for conservation efforts. It's not just a one-way street, money flowing out of hunters' pockets.
So it's not just about profit in a vacuum, but also about enabling other benefits. That makes sense.
Exactly.
That leads me to another common sentiment I often hear, that leasing is somehow a new concept, that it breaks tradition and just isn't the way we've always done it.
Yeah, that historical angle.
Right. There's this feeling that it's a departure from some long-held norm. What does the article tell us about whether this concept is truly new or breaking tradition?
Well, this raises an important point about historical context, actually. The article clarifies that hunt clubs and the general idea of exchanging payment for access are not new to the hunting landscape at all.
Really?
Yeah. Think about it this way. It's a normal practice in so many other areas outside of hunting. The source uses the analogy of, say, a landowner renting fields to farmers for payment.
Okay, yeah.
Or an oil company drilling for royalties on someone's property. It simply highlights the landowner's inherent right to benefit from what they own.
Especially considering their costs.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Especially when you consider their ongoing mortgage, property taxes, repairs, upkeep. From their perspective, it's a valuable product they're offering access to.
That certainly makes a lot of sense when you put it in that broader economic context. So, okay, we've tackled those initial misconceptions. Leases aren't necessarily just for the ultra-rich, and they're not really a brand new idea. That makes sense on a conceptual level. But what are the tangible reasons hunters and landowners are embracing this? The article lays out 10 benefits, and the first couple really address what every hunter craves: more and better access.
Access is key.
Totally. One of the clearest points is how leases are opening access in general. The source explains how they're bringing properties back into play that were previously completely closed to hunting. We're talking about landowners who might have stopped offering permission for whatever reason, but are now recruiting through services like BCL, creating brand new opportunities for hunters where maybe none existed before.
And that ties directly into the second point, improving access to better ground. Because while some landowners might already be open to hunting, Platforms like BCL make these specific, often really high-quality properties discoverable to a much wider audience.
So you can find the good stuff easier.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It allows hunters to be much choosier,
Mhm.
you know, to really seek out land that checks all the right boxes for their specific needs. Maybe it's deer, maybe turkey, maybe just a certain type of terrain.
Right.
This is a direct contrast to, say, often lower quality public land, or sometimes the inconsistent experience you get with permission-based private lands, where you might not know what you're getting until you actually show up.
Absolutely. Finding that ideal spot, that truly productive piece of ground, is such a huge part of the experience. But okay, once you've found that spot, what about actually managing it?
Management. Crucial.
The article really emphasizes how leases empower hunters to manage hunting pressure directly, which has a ripple effect. This is the third benefit, managing hunting pressure.
Yeah.
With a lease, the hunters control the hunting rights, meaning they choose exactly who can and cannot hunt on that property. And this control is highlighted as, well, crucial for maintaining the quality of a piece of hunting land.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this direct control over hunting pressure directly contributes to improving wildlife conservation. That's benefit number 4.
How so?
Well, when a property is leased for hunting, it helps to keep that recreational land intact. This is vital because it prevents habitat loss from things like development or fragmentation.
Oh, right, selling off parcels.
Exactly. Things that might otherwise occur if the landowner needed different income streams. It essentially provides an economic incentive to maintain open, natural spaces, which helps ensure that current and future hunting can continue on that land.
That's a critical point, preventing habitat loss. And it goes even further into active management with the fifth benefit, enhancing wildlife management. The article highlights how leases can support healthy habitat numbers for all wildlife, not just the game species. And depending on the specific lease agreement, it even allows for active habitat management strategies, like putting in food plots or providing supplemental feed.
Yeah, that's a big one. It means hunters aren't just, taking from the land, they're actively investing in its health.
Investing back in.
Precisely. And this level of control over habitat and hunting pressure naturally leads into the sixth benefit, elevating deer herd quality.
Bigger bucks.
Well, maybe not just bigger, but a healthier age structure. With leaseholders having control over deer harvesting strategies, it generally results in a better buck age structure and, over time, just an overall improved deer herd quality. It allows for a much more strategic approach to managing the deer population, rather than simply harvesting whatever happens to walk by.
Okay, so better management, better conservation, potentially better deer. Makes sense. Shifting gears a bit, let's talk about the hunter's actual experience and maybe some practical advantages.
Okay.
The seventh benefit listed is increased options for hunt planning. Leasing often provides a level of flexibility that's just, well, it's often not possible with permission-based hunting or trying your luck on public ground.
How so? Flexibility.
Well, hunters can choose to go when conditions are just right, when the weather's ideal, or a specific rut phase is peaking with fewer variables like, super higher hunting pressure to worry about. They're not rushing to beat other hunters to the spot first thing in the morning.
Yeah. Lund competition on that specific day. And that leads directly to benefit 8, enhanced property knowledge over
Yeah.
time.
Okay.
What's particularly insightful here is the first right of refusal benefit, often built into these lease agreements.
Meaning you get first dibs next year.
Exactly. It means existing leaseholders frequently get the initial opportunity to release the same property year after year. This allows hunters to lease for consecutive seasons, building a truly deep, intimate knowledge of the property.
Yeah.
Understanding bedding areas, travel corridors, water sources, seasonal patterns, all that knowledge that just takes time. The kind of knowledge that permission-based hunting, where you might be on a different spot each year, rarely allows you to accumulate.
That makes a huge difference. And on a more practical level, a significant advantage mentioned is number 9, decreasing trespassing issues.
Oh, interesting. How does that work?
Well, the source notes that leased properties are actively patrolled by the lease hunters themselves. They have a vested interest, right?
Sure.
Plus, once word gets around in the local community that a piece of land is leased, apparently neighborhood trespassers become less likely to jump the fence because they know active hunters are consistently on the property. There's more accountability.
That makes sense. Eyes on the ground. Okay, and finally, the 10th reason, and it's a critical one, is increased revenue for the landowners themselves.
Right. The money side for them.
Exactly. The article frames this as a clear, good thing. where ideally everyone wins and no one is taken advantage of. What's truly insightful here is how this evolving revenue stream empowers landowners not just to cover their costs like taxes and upkeep.
Which can be substantial.
Oh, absolutely. But also to potentially reinvest in their land. This shifts the dynamic, creating a stronger economic incentive for active habitat management and, like we said, preventing land from being sold off for development. It offers a critical financial underpinning for conservation that might otherwise be absent.
Okay, so those are 10 pretty compelling arguments from the article itself. But, diving into those comments, this is where the true deep dive really begins, I think.
Yeah, reality check time.
Kind of,
I
because
love
despite all those well-articulated benefits, there's a real tension brewing, especially around the cost. Phil Peaks, for example, he pulls no punches. He states that leasing has become cost-prohibitive for lots of hunters. He even mentions a cited price of $35 to $40 per acre, and he's clearly concerned that the middleman, referring to companies like Basecamp Leasing, is, quote, making too much money. It's a sentiment I hear a lot.
That cost issue is definitely front and center for many people. It really raises an important question about market dynamics and who truly dictates these prices.
Yeah, who sets the price?
Well, Connor Hermish in the comments directly counters Phil's point. He states quite clearly that Basecamp Leasing does not set the prices.
Oh.
Instead, he argues hunters set the prices and the market for hunting leases. BCL is merely a broker in this exchange. His perspective is that landowners have simply realized, maybe over the past couple of decades, the valuable commodity they have.
And the market responded.
And the market has adjusted accordingly. That's his take.
Interesting counterpoint.
And we also see other positive personal experiences reflected in the comments, which offer a different perspective altogether.
Like what?
Well, Ken Adams, for instance, says flat out, "I love my lease," finds it worth every penny because he doesn't want to buy land outright, and he refuses to public hunt. So for him, it's the perfect solution.
So it meets his specific needs.
Exactly. And then there's Cindy Angebos, who highlights really practical and, frankly, often overlooked safety concerns.
Safety? How so?
She sees leases as a significant advantage for those who can't afford to buy land, sure, but she also stresses the increased safety compared to public land. As she puts it, you know who is on the property.
Ah, controlling who's there.
Right, which helps avoid unknown individuals who might be careless or even dangerous. She even goes as far as to specifically mention not wanting to, and this is her quote, get shot by some nungal who was out drinking the night before and only hunts once a year.
Wow, that's blunt, but a very real concern for many hunters, I imagine.
A very real concern, yeah.
So, as we've explored today, hunting leases, while certainly a subject of, let's say, spirited debate,
Definitely spirited.
they emerge as a truly multifaceted solution. They offer hunters pathways to quality access that might otherwise be out of reach, and they provide landowners with significant benefits from their property. The source, despite those critical comments, strongly suggests it's potentially a win-win form of hunting land access when viewed holistically.
Yeah, and this really raises an important question for all of us, I think. How do these evolving models of land access, like hunting leases, how do they reshape our fundamental understanding of private property, public access, and, well, the broader future of outdoor recreation and conservation? It's definitely a dynamic landscape, and these agreements are clearly playing a pretty significant role in shaping it.
So, thinking about all this, what stands out to you about how these different perspectives, the benefits, the costs, the safety concerns, intersect? And maybe more importantly, what might this mean for how we think about land use and access in the years to come?